Welcome back to Message from a Watchman. This is part 3 of Discernment. Part 3 of Discernment. This series, Discernment, highlights the true meaning of discernment. It demonstrates information that is crucial to understanding that discernment is when the Spirit of Yahushua reveals to us, guides us. It is the resource that we are equipped with by communicating with the Spirit of Yahushua according to His written and living word in order to make right rulings, right judgments, right decisions. Discernment goes far beyond man's definition. And it is for that reason that I believe this is a very critical presentation. Again, this is part 3 and we'll get started right after the disclaimer has been read. As I read a disclaimer, this is important, and so you will find it in each video and each presentation. The views expressed in this presentation do not reflect the views of any technological portal I use. My views do not reflect the management and or staff of YouTube, Ustream, Facebook, Pal Talk, or any other such communication portals. Like with any information presented, you are advised to research and seek confirmation. Each of us are held accountable for our own actions and decisions. Let the presentation begin. So, we see as we move right along, my brothers and sisters, we have seen where judgment, right rulings begin at the house of Elohim. Let us examine some more scriptures. Deuteronomy 29:29 states, "The secret matters belong to Yahuwah, our Elohim, but what is revealed belongs to us and to our children forever, to do all the words of this Torah." See, so the secret matters, they belong to Elohim, and so Elohim can bring that which is secret. He can reveal that to us and make it known. And as we see here, to do all the words of this Torah, all the instructions. So when they say Torah, it's talking about the instructions of Yahuwah. Matthew 16:17. And Yahushua answering said to him, "Blessed are you, Shimon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in the heavens." See, so the revelation is coming from the Father. And we know if we can embrace that the Father and the Son are one, we see by John 14:26 that it is the Spirit of Yahushua. The Spirit of Yahushua. Let us look at John 4:16 and read that. Yahushua said to her, "Go call your husband and come here." The woman answered and said, "I have no husband." Yahushua said to her, "You have well said, I have no husband. For you have 5 husbands, and the one whom you now have is not your husband. What you have said is true." The woman said to him, "Master, I see that you are a prophet." So here we see where the Messiah demonstrated how the things that one think are secret or private are made known. So we see a clear demonstration of revelation of the things that are hidden being revealed. And his example with Yahushua's conversation with the woman at the well. Right rulings. A part of our walk, a part of our journey. Judgment and right rulings are part of what we are called to do. And in order to do that with a degree of precision, we must study and pray. Our hearts must have the intent to worship and obey the Most High. Not to satisfy our own desires, our own lusts, our own wills, or to manipulate one person or another. Judgment and right rulings are a part of our walk, my brothers and sisters. And it's time to stop making compromises and allowing unrighteous leaven to become part of our lifestyle, part of our fellowship. Let us realize the importance of discernment. And let us identify those who understand it. Let us seek out sound counsel, righteous teachings on this matter of discernment as it relates to judgment and right rulings. Let us be aware and move forward. So as we can see, there are some critical responsibilities that come with discernment. So when someone is quick to demonstrate or exercise what they believe is right rulings or judgment, we must be familiar with the voice of Yahushua. We must be familiar with the scriptures in whole. Critical attributes, because we see in discernment that there is a degree of judgment and right rulings. We see that there's spiritual guidance as an attribute. We see that it's important to know the origins of the message, who's showing it to us, who's revealing this to us. We see that it's important that we allow the Spirit of Yahushua to guide us so that we're able to line up written scriptures to let us know it's not some wrong spirit guiding us. So in order to be sure it is the Spirit of Yahushua, we must be studied up and prayed up and be able to be familiar with scriptures that line up with the actions that we're demonstrating as it relates to this thing called discernment. The methods in which we deliver things may seem different and strange to different ones that's looking outside, but let us not let external influence how and what method that we use to deliver any message that is the result of discernment. The methods and delivery should be again instructed by our guide, our Messiah, through his Spirit, according to his written and living word. We must consider the impact on the individual. We may not know all, but at least think about there's an impact on the individual when discernment, when right rulings, when judgment comes. And there's an outcome. There's an effect that it has on the fellowship or people that are around. So the impact being the results of such demonstration on individuals, and the outcome would be the overall effect to the fellowship. Judgment and right rulings made possible by righteous discernment. Righteous discernment when the Spirit of Yahushua reveals. We must understand that it is not to beat up on someone. It is not to terrorize someone. But discernment, judgment, right rulings are for encouragement. Encouragement and chastening. For the scripture says, Yahuwah chasten those who he loves. And if we are instrument of his, then he will use us in chastening one another at times by virtue of judgment and right rulings. This is an encouragement to know that the word is being fulfilled, that the scriptures are being fulfilled. So let us not flee and run or get attitudes or get defensive. Let us know when to yield to righteous rulings. Let us be encouraged knowing that the scriptures are being fulfilled. Let us be encouraged knowing that sometimes the Father will chasten us to bring us to correction. Who's informed? You see, in discernment, it's not just one person. Sometimes the Spirit of Yahushua will show many and others to bear witness, to establish the facts, whether they be good and validating righteousness, or whether it be good and validating righteousness, but unto the point of identifying what's unrighteous in order to purge that unleavened out of our existence. In other words, bring it to naught swiftly, by firm brothers and sisters that understand the importance of discernment, that is not afraid, that have the fortitude to yield to the Spirit of Yahushua and execute the things which are presented before us by his Spirit according to his words. We can do it, my brothers. We can do it, and we shall. There will be demonstration because all scripture is fulfilled. All. Or should I say all scripture will be fulfilled. Will be fulfilled. And so, with this thing of discernment, judgment, right rulings, we have some decisions to make. That's right. There are decisions to make. While this may be presented in such a way that you might think it's too much to think about, too much to consider, but these details actually occur. Some happen so swiftly because the Spirit is so swift, so fast and communicating and working through us that we take the simplest matters of discernment for granted. But yes, it involves decisions. The choices we make can make a difference. What next? What next? Once we make these decisions, what do we do with them? Are we going to go into intercessory prayer? Will we seek out counsel? Will we match what we're experiencing against sound teachings? What do we envision? What is the vision of the actions? Do we ever pause for a moment to see if the Spirit of Yahushua will show us what is the vision of our actions, what we're going to do, what we will do? Sometimes by visioning the actions, it helps us to examine more thoroughly according to Scripture to make sure things line up before we respond. Consider the details. We've grown to be so busy in life, so much to do, so much to take care of, so many things that demands our attention. But sometimes we need to realize it's important to consider the details in the matter. Discernment, right rulings, decisions, choices. Yes, let us consider the details, for if we miss the details, that might be the area where the enemy will try to seep in and disrupt, dislodge, distract, and cause confusion. So let us consider the details, for this is where the enemy will try to seep in. So when we consider the details, we can be more precise in our obedience to the Father. What are the influencing factors? In other words, when we respond or when we act out or when we are demonstrating that we have experienced a degree of discernment and decisions that we're making, judgments, right rulings, and so forth, what influences? Are we sure that it was because we're seeking to worship and obey the Most High? Or were we influenced in saying, I want to get back at someone, or I want to be something important to someone, or they lean on me, so I need to do this? No, the influencing factor should be nothing more or less short of worshiping and obeying the Most High. Confidence level. As we grow in maturity, we will develop a degree of confidence in knowing that it is the voice of Yahushua, the Spirit of Yahushua, that is guiding us. We'll grow confident, but there are so many people that are confidently wrong because of their good intentions. They have a degree of confidence. They think by pushing hard and speaking boldly and all this confidence that they have, it is always righteous. But not all confidence is righteous. So there's righteous confidence and unrighteous confidence. Just because one is forceful doesn't necessarily mean that they're righteous in their confidence. And remember, there's safety in a multitude of counsel. In a multitude of counsel, we can find safety. Safety to the degree in which we receive validation, confirmation, affirmation that it is indeed the Spirit of Yahushua that's guiding us. Because keep in mind, no scripture is of any private interpretation. None. So let us keep in mind that there are decisions to make, and there are components to these decisions. Sometimes we go through them so quickly we fail to realize the responsibility that we have as believers. Part 4 is coming up next. Part 4 of Discernment from Message from a Watchman. Message from a Watchman by Symmanayah. Stay tuned.